Hey there, this is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and welcome to today's video. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on equity. What is equity? What is the fuss about equity in property investing? Well, what I'd learned over time, I actually didn't know this when I started my journey. I kind of just took advantage of the fact that I thought I knew what I knew until they introduced new terminologies to me. And I went with the flow, and I took advantage of the fact that, hey, I work in the bank. I can't look so dumb in front of everybody. Sorry, that was my approach. That was my thinking. And that was limited thinking on my side, right? And I thought, I can't look so dumb in front of everybody. So I'm going to learn what that is when I get back to the workplace. But nonetheless, I had found out that equity is a big deal in property investing. So I want to find out from you very quickly in the comments below, do you want to type what you think equity is? That would be absolutely fun to share so that others can learn that it's okay sometimes to not know what we don't know. Is that okay with you? So nonetheless, I trust that you have typed out what equity is or what you think equity is. So the quick definition of what equity is equity is the difference between what the property is worth and what you owe. So let's give a quick description, right? In one of my many videos that I have done, I've given an example of a 500,000 property. So here you are driving through the area that you are interested in investing. As you're driving through this area, what are you looking for? This house that is kind of broken. You're looking for this house that needs a lot of attention. So in this particular street, you see all of these beautiful places or well-kept, neat places. And then you see this eyesore of a property. 9 out of 10 times, that is the property that you are looking for, right? So you've just driven through the neighborhood that you're interested in to find that property. And then you think to yourself, this could be a deal. You look in front of that property. Is there a for sale board potentially? Boom, you hit the jackpot. There is a for sale board. You write down the name of the person selling it, the company, and their cell phone number. And if you're anything like me, you take massive action straight away. What do? Yes, you pick up your phone and cell phone, obviously. You pick up your phone and you say, hi Sue, I'm in front of number 2 Smith Avenue and I see that you are selling this house. Would it be possible for me to view this property now if you are close by? Why not give it a try, guys? Have you ever tried something brave like that? And if you have, I want you to smash the like button because me and you, we together, we're brave, we take risks. And when you call and you say, and Sue says, yes, in fact, I'm in the area. Could we view the property in 1 hour? You say, yes, Sue, that will be fantastic. And you make that appointment with Sue. And you know what you do at that point? You drive around the area very close to this property to see the people that are in the area, to see if there's movement, what type of movement, the people that are staying in the area. And sometimes, even if you get a glimpse of the type of car that they drive, I learned the other day it's called a whip. Did you know it was a whip? I didn't know it was a whip. I was wondering which world am I staying in if I didn't know that slang. But nonetheless, you drive around the area to see what whips are in the area. Listen to me sounding all hip and everything. And then you start taking in, are you seeing little kids around? Is there a park? Is it close by to shops? What surrounds this particular property? Because you know what you're doing at that time. While Sue is getting ready to come and show you that property, you are doing what we call due diligence. You are doing your research about the area. It doesn't matter whether that is a deal proper or not. You want to take in as much as you know about that particular area so that you can maximize the things about the area in your conversation with Sue. So nonetheless, You start driving around the area, and quickly, because you're on your cell phone, you may want to pop over onto Property 24 and see what the houses are selling for. Has Sue got an advert for that particular property? Small due diligence, Nyan. I'm not saying go large scale yet. You get into this, and you now on the top of the hour, you're meeting Sue. As you meet Sue, hey Sue, I've just been driving about the area, and I stumbled, as I told you on our cell phone call. Please could you take me through this property? And here is some hints. I know if we're talking about equity, but I'm wanting to give you the life cycle of why you're after equity. Is that okay with you? If it is okay with you, I know what you're going to do. You're going to click on the like button. I know that you're going to do that. I see you. Boom, boom, yes, I saw you did it. You did it. So nonetheless, you talk to Sue and you ask her, so Sue, what makes this person want to sell the property? Because that's a good opener. You want to understand how motivated is the person to sell. Everybody says they're motivated to sell, but there's nothing like listening out for a reason that gives that person motivation to sell. Sometimes it doesn't always come to the truth initially, but that's okay. You are collecting information at this point, right? Now, on to step number 2. When Sue says come inside, you say, Sue, would it be okay if we first walk around the property? That's if it's a standalone sort of property and it's a property that you can walk around. Sometimes it's just a block of 4 flats. You can still walk around the property. As long as you can, at some given point, walk around the property before walking inside the property. Because hint, hint, if this is a standalone house, for example, you're walking around the property. If it is broken down, you're going to see other stuff that is broken outside, like the gutters and the windows. You're going to start seeing, hey, Bana, there used to be part of a roof here. What happened to the roof? You're going to start seeing things that you will not see if you only walk inside. So you want to walk around the house, right? You want to see, hey, is the damp looking like moss kind of thing vibe? The moment you start seeing something like that, and you know, hey, there's some plumbing issues going on here. You almost can identify the bathroom outside or wherever there is plumbing from outside. You want to make that note. And the reason you want to make that note is going to all come as part of your negotiation points. Eventually, let's fast forward, you see the property, you go home, you're proper excited. Now you go onto your desktop, your laptop, wherever it is, and you start looking private property or Property 24, and you start seeing for houses in that area, what does it go for? You want to see if Sue's advert is there. If Sue's advert is there, you want to go and look at her description, because I'm always fascinated by the descriptions of real estate agents. Sometimes they say, this house is beautiful, it just needs an imagination and some paint to get it back to its former state. Like some of those words in the description just tells you volumes. And for those of you that may say, why would it tell you volumes? Well, it would tell you volumes that somebody is really wanting to sell this property and they want to sell the future picture. So if you say, use your imagination, think about it, you close your eyes, you use your imagination to get to this pretty state that it used to be. There is renovation involved in there. Investing is a messy business, remember. There's renovation that's involved in there. So you want to say, hi Sue, I've gone through the calculations. I'm wanting to bring somebody through to give me a quote on fixing the place so that I know that I can afford the property. Because you know what? Investing 101, you never sign an offer to purchase the first time you see that property. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Okay, now that you know that you never, ever, ever sign on the first go, you then want to take somebody through who is a professional. Your people and your calculations are important. You take this person through and then you say, This is what the idea I've got for this property. You're not going to bring in the ceramic, the best tiles and the granite top. You want to bring it to functional level, right, guys? We don't want to get overconfident, over smart on the things that we are doing in terms of investing. Your taste is not the same as somebody else's taste. So fast forward, you get the quote and you start saying, in my calculations on market value, this property is worth $500,000. Sue is wanting to sell it for $400,000, but the renovation is $75,000. So it then means $470,000 is going to make me bring this particular property that is not functional right now, that's broken. It's forcing the appreciation or forcing the market value up to $475,000. And while you buy this property, regardless of how you're financing the deal, whether you're financing it via the bond or you're financing it via an investor, you still need closing costs. And then you say, if my closing costs are $50,000, it means now I am buying a rundown house over market value. Is that worth it? And this is when your genie of negotiation must kick in. And just say Sue was really trying for the lights, to shoot the lights out. You negotiate, you highlight, you do all your gymnastics that you need to do, and you eventually bring the price down to $325,000. For example, the renovation is still $75,000, which then means you bring it up to $400,000. And what if magically you find an investor that says, I want to do a cash deal, right? The closing costs are minimal because all you're going to do is be paying for the lawyer's fees at that particular time. No bond fee because they're buying it cash. We're going in a hypothetical situation that does happen. It's not an imagination. It's something that does happen. So nonetheless, you go on this, you have now bought equity in the deal. Why? Because the property is worth $500,000. You've negotiated with Sue for $325,000 and your renovation is $75,000. Say, for example, your closing cost is really, really minimal on this. Say that it's another $20,000 at maximum. You've now got $80,000 between the value and you purchasing with closing costs this particular property. There's this $80,000. It's your money, but it's not your money. That's what's so funny about equity. Because you see what's interesting after that is that when somebody does come eventually stay and then they're paying their rent regularly and whatnot, this investor decided they're going to use a money strategy, right? Now, this investor can say, I used my own money. We've now proved that a tenant is staying there. Money is coming in on a regular monthly basis because of the rental income. The rental income is sorting out the different expenses for this particular property. Okay, you depending on that particular investor, they may be paying some sort of tax on the money or not, depending on how they got this money and how they're doing their accounting. Always make sure your accounting is on and up to date. So here, 6 months down the line, the investor says, I'm going to the bank to refinance this property. Firstly, the property is bought cash. Secondly, we've got this $80,000 equity bought into there. So that's $80,000 of the bank's money, and they're going to refinance that particular property. And say, for example, the bank gives them the full market value of that property of $500,000. The investor gets their cash back. And then you get this $80,000 equity that was in there. So you get the investor's money and then some, which is the equity, which is the difference between, like I shared with you in the, can you remember the definition? And I said to you, equity is the difference between what the property is worth, $500,000, and what you owe. And we had found that $80,000. So in all of this, this is when the investor says, I'm going back, I'm going to refinance that property. The bank will finance it. It goes through all its costing and things like that, right? The tenant has proven to pay, so which means they'll continue paying the bond and they will pay the expenses because of the rental income that you've agreed with them, right? And working out those numbers can be somewhat tricky, because you'll find in the world of investing, some people say it's okay if I supplement, meaning I take out money and pay any sort of shortfalls. In the world of property investing that I've learned, it is not okay. Then your numbers didn't work out right. Then you potentially didn't buy under market value. And if you really just want to understand some of those things, I would want to encourage you to go into the description. I have free training on my website. It's over 3 hours of free training that we did in the beginning of lockdown, live in the Facebook group that I have. And there's many things that we had learned in and around property investing. So I want to encourage you to click on that link and go. It's free. I don't even ask you for an email address. I ask you for nothing. All I ask you to do is, if you are truly interested in starting your property investing journey or getting unstuck from where you are, go and click on that link in the description so that you can go and consume that free content and you decide what it is that you want thereafter. But now, getting back to the world of this investor goes and refinances. The bank gives them 100% loan to value, meaning they give you 100% of what that particular property is worth on market value. What could you do now with this 500,000 that you have? You can go and buy more properties that are worth less than 500,000 cash. And then what you can do over time, you wait for it, and they call this the BRRRR method. You buy, you renovate, you rent, and you refinance. And many investors have bought their properties using this particular methodology. So in today's learning lessons, what have we learned? We learned what is equity. It is the difference between the value of the property and what you owe for it. And over time, many of us are sitting on a bond that we have paid for many years, and we don't understand that we are sitting on money. And while we are sitting on money, if you can make that money work for you, get you an extra income, it will pay the bond that you've just refinanced, and it will pay the property that you potentially have bought cash, because then you can then employ the BRRRR methodology by buying, renovating, renting, and refinancing. So in that, I want to say, yes, I've opened again up to a number of different methodologies. The BRRRR methodology, I promise to do another video very soon where I can literally stand in front of my flip chart explaining the BRRRR methodology in pen. Will that be okay for you? If you like that, I want you to comment below to say, Jen, I like that, and I promise to get that going just especially for you. So without much ado, the difference between equity is the difference between the value of the property and how much you owe. You could be paying you could have been paying your bond back for the last 15 years, having very little to pay back onto your bond, and you'd be able to use that money carefully, not to get into consumer debt, not to go and splash and spoil yourself, but to get into the property business of investing. Take good care. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. I love that you have been supporting me loyally until this point. I look forward to bringing more content that is relevant for you in bite-sized pieces. Take good care until the next time.